Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our last video, we learned about variables and comments in Python. If you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend checking it out before continuing. It will help you follow along more easily. In today's session, we'll be learning about basic data types, how to identify the type of a variable, and we'll also do some hands-on exercise to strengthen your understanding. So let's get started and explore these essential Python concepts together. Before we get started, I'd like to show yet another way how we can run Python code. So previously, we used to run using this run Python file button. If you want to run Python lines of code interactively, you can use this option. If you type Python, you'll get a interactive terminal. So here you can directly execute Python code. For example, if I want to print hello world, I can do this here. As you can see, this line of code got executed and the output is shown right here itself. Now that we have learned yet another way to run Python code, let's get back to our today's topic. The first topic is single assignment. So when a variable is assigned to a value, we call it as single assignment. So here when x is assigned with value 10, and if we try to print that value, we get x. When we try to print the value x, we get 10. Let's verify that. So I'm going to interactive terminal now. So after this, I assign the value of x as 10. So now if I try to print the value of x, I should get value 10. So alternatively, what we can do instead of trying to print is, we can just type the name of the variable and click on press enter, we get the same result. But that is not the same here. In the Python file, if you want to print a value, we have to specify it inside a print statement. Whereas in the interactive terminal, you either can pass it to a print function, or you can just type the name of the variable and it just prints the value of it. So similarly, the message is assigned with the value hello Python. So if you try to print the variable message, we get hello Python. And for pi, 3.14. And now if we try to print the value of pi approx, we get 3.14. Now to determine the type of any variable, we have a inbuilt function called type. When we pass a variable name to the type function, we get the type of that variable. To see that, this is the type function and I'm passing the value x. As you can see, we get the value as class int, meaning the variable x is of type int. Similarly, if we check the type of message, it is class string, and if we check the type of pi approx, it's type float. So why is it that type of value x is int and pi approx is float? That is because x has no decimal part for this number, whereas for pi approx there is a decimal part as well. So if a variable has a value number and it does not have a decimal part, then the variable is of type int. And if a variable has a decimal part, it is float. For message, since message has a value which is text, we call it as type string. Now moving forward with the multiple assignments, if we want the value of two variables to be the same, then we go with the multiple assignments. For example, I want the value of z and b to be 15. So here you can see I want the value of z and b to be 15. z equals to b equals to 15. In this case, now if I try to print the value of z, it should be 15, and same goes with the b as well. Since we are allocating 15 to both b and z. So the next topic is multiple assignments, where multiple variables are assigned with multiple different values. If you see, if I want x, y and z to have 10, 20 and 30, I go with this. Now here x gets allocated with value 10, y gets allocated with value 20 and z gets value allocated with 30. So I'll try to print all the values here. X value is 10, y value is 20, z value is 30. So there is yet another type called complex. When a number has both imaginary part as well as real part, we call the type as complex. So I'll assign value c with 15 plus 6j, and if I try to print the type of c, here you can see it is if I try to print the type of c, you can see it is complex. So if you want a value of any variable to be either true or false, then we have a type called Boolean. We'll check the usage of true and false in the coming exercises. For now, let us try to allocate a variable with value true or false and check with what will be the type of the variables. If I check the type of t, you can see it is type bool. Alright, it's time to get our hands dirty by solving the problems using whatever we have learned today. The first problem here, what we have to do is we have to take input from the user and print the greeting message. For example, if the user inputs name as Saket, then the program should return hello. So let's implement this. So to do this, we need to do two things. First, we have to figure out how to get input from the user. Second, we already know how to print something to the console. We have to do these two things. To get input from the user, we have a inbuilt method called here. Whatever this input returns whatever the user enters. So we assign the user's input to a variable. Let's call the variable name, as the user is going to be inputting name. So let's try to execute this program. You see, now it is prompting the user to input something. Let me type something here, and if there is nothing that's going to, because I haven't implemented the printing part yet. Now let us try to print the name. If I try to run now, as soon as I input a name, it's just going to print. That's it. So the goal of this program is to print a greeting message, not just a name. We need a greeting message. So to do that, what we are going to do is type prepend hello and then concatenate name to it. So to combine two strings, we can use the plus operator. So now what it will print is hello and name. Name is inputted by user. So let's run this once. I am going to type name as Saket and it says hello Saket. As you can see, when we run the program, it is not prompting the user to input anything. It is not showing any message at all. We ourselves are typing something. If we want to let the user know that you have to type something, we can pass the message as parameters. So when we pass something, for any function, if we pass something into it, that is called parameter. So let's say if I write enter your name. So when I run it, you can see whatever I pass it here is displayed here. Now the user knows that they have to enter their name. I type Saket. Now it says hello Saket. The objective of our program is complete. Let's move on to the next program, which is age1.py. Here what we have to achieve is, when a user enters his age, when a user enters his or her age, let's say 5, then it should print an output saying you will be 6 years next year. So this is our goal. So the first step here is to get the user's age. So to do that, we have a variable named age and we assign whatever the user inputs to it. And we are also going to pass a name saying please enter your name. So here, once the user enters, we add +1 to their age. We do that by saying age +1. So here the age, whatever the user enters, is allocated to the variable age. And here again, if the user enters 5, this becomes 5. 5 + 1 is 6. So we have to print you will be. Now let us try to run this program. So it is prompting for me to enter my name. I think there is an, instead of asking for a name, we were supposed to ask for age. Now I run the program. Now it is prompting for me to enter my age. As you can see, it gives an error. It says only concatenate string, not int to string. So it is saying that age is not string. Age is string, but one is int. So we cannot concatenate string and int. That is what it says. Here we have to learn an important concept, which is typecasting. Typecasting. So what is typecasting? Typecasting is nothing but if you want to convert a type of a variable to another variable, another type. For example, if I want to convert string to int or int to string or int to float, any type, if you want to convert to another type, the process is called typecasting. So the error here says we cannot concatenate. as I told earlier in this program, if we have to concatenate two strings, we use the plus operator. Here also we are trying here if you see, it says we cannot concatenate string with int. So obviously one is a integer and age is a string, because whatever the input function returns is a string. So here we have to convert whatever the input returns to int. Since input returns string, we have to convert string to int, which we'll do it here. Age equal to convert any type to int, we have a function called int. If we pass any variable into it, it becomes integer. Here at this part, age is a string. But here at this part, what happens is we are typecasting age to int. Now the age becomes int. Here this is int and this is int. If both are int, then what happens is it just adds +1 to this value. Now let's try to run this program. So when I run this, and if I type my age as 24, only string can contain. Here you can see now the age got added by 1. I'll print and show it to you. Now let me run this. You can see 24. You can see here that we get a 25 here, meaning this statement got executed. Whereas when it comes to this statement, it says an error saying only strings can be concatenated, not int. So here we have to convert this integer back to string so that it could be concatenated with the other part of the string. To do that, what we can do is we just simply have to wrap it around string method. That's it. Now here at this part, the age, which is integer right now, will be converted into string and then concatenated with the rest of the string. Let me run this now. I'll enter my age 4. It says you will be 25 years old next year. Perfect. So one more thing I have to show it to you guys here. String, here you can see every time we have to concatenate some variable with the existing string. Then it becomes quite messy if there are more variables here. So there is an alternative way. It is called string interpolation. So to interpolate string between to interpolate variables inside a string, what we can do is we can add a f before the string, and you can type it normally. You will age years old next year. So here age is a variable. Since age is a variable, we have to wrap it around curly braces. I'll comment this out, and if I run this now, it prints the exact same results. As you can see, you will be 25 years old next year. Yeah, let's move on to the next problem. Here we did two things. Here string is typecasted to integer, and at this part here we are changing this int to string. We learned two types of typecasting today: string to int and int to string. Let's go to the next problem. So in this problem, so we have to input how much money is received from the user, and each cupcakes cost $2.5. So what we have to calculate is how many cupcakes can we give it to the customer. So this is the problem. Example is, let's say there are the user inputs, he has given $20, and how many cupcakes can be given for $20? Let me. So 8 cupcakes can be given to the user. 8 cupcakes. So let's try to implement that. So we are assigning input money to the value that the user enters. Please enter amount. Once the user enters the received amount, what we are going to do, we are going to divide it by 2.5. As each cupcakes cost $2.50. So what we have to do is number of cupcakes equal to whatever the user inputs by 2.5, as each cupcake costs 2.5. So what we have to do here, now we have to print you will to wrap it and in curly braces, as we are going to interpolate this variable between. Let me try to run this program. I'll enter 20. Yeah, here again we get the error saying we cannot divide a string and a float. This is a float and this is a string, as whatever we get the input from this input method is a string, we have to typecast it. So here what I have to do is I have to convert string to float. So to convert any string to float, we have a method called float. If I pass input money into it, it becomes float. Here what is happening? String is being converted into float. So once I receive the input money, I'm going to divide it by 2.5. Then here I'll get the number of cupcakes. I'll just print it out. Now let me run this. Let's say I've entered $20. Then here you can see I get 8 cupcakes. What if I enter $17? Let us try that out. So if I enter $17, it says I received 6.8 cupcakes, but cupcakes cannot be divided. So we have to cast this float to int. So to do that, what we'll do, we have to cast it here. Of cupcakes equal to cast anything, any variable to integer, we pass it into int method, number of cupcakes. Now we can see only the whole numbers. You will receive 6 cupcakes. So one more method is, in Python, if we add // it means integer division. So whatever the value that this returns, it will automatically convert and typecast itself into integer. So we don't have to do this step again. So I'll comment this out for now and I'll try to run. It should give the same results. If I type 17, I'll get 6 point. This is an integer division, but it doesn't return integer. It just eliminates the decimal part only, but still you can see here it returns float itself, whereas the previous method where we typecasted into int returned int, but with this integer division method we still get a float, but the decimal part will be 0. In this video we try to do One, we converted string to float, and other thing is we tried to convert float to int, and we learned about integer division. All of this code will be uploaded into our GitHub. Please visit the profile to get the please visit the YouTube channel to get the GitHub ID, or I'll type it down in the description so that you can directly get it, clone it from there. So the last example is full name. Here what we'll do is we'll get the first name and last name of the user, and after getting that, what we'll do is we'll try to print their full name, first name and last name. So we have to take input first name, then what we have to output is first name and last name. We have to do this. First step is to get the first name. I will assign I'll initialize a variable called I just print out first name as well as last name. So let's try to run this now. As you can see, it prints Saket Labs, but there is no space in between. So to do that, we can add one more place here and a character space here. Now if I try to run the same program, labs, we get Saket Labs. So we already learned about the string interpolation. We'll try to do in that method as well. F space first name, now I'll out. Let me try to run this. Saket Labs. You can see some. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the hands-on learning experience. If you're watching this on your phone, I highly recommend switching it to a laptop and coding along. It will make your learning much more effective. In this session, we explored the basic data types in Python and learned how to convert variable from one type to another. All the code from this video has been pushed to GitHub, and you can find the repository link in the description below. Feel free to check it out and practice on your own. In the next video, we'll be diving into collection data types, a key concept that will take your Python skills to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notification, and leave a like if you have found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.